welcome back to Bridal Sewing Techniques, and today we're going to go over how to shorten lace overlay straps. I know you guys are seeing a lot of these lately. Of course, the cheap and quick way is just to run a seam through it, but that's not really the right way. So I'm going to walk you through the steps, okay? Okay, so here I have pinched up the top of the strap on her so I could see how much I need to take it up. Marked it with pins, and then on the other strap side you'll see I've already started to remove some of the lace. Basically you just take nippers or a razor, I'll show you that in a minute, to peel the lace back so we can get to the seam. I wanted to show you a detailed picture of what this lace looks like, or rather what the tool looks like, because this tool has been absolutely pulverized by the thousands of stitches that they put in. They put in a lot of invisible stitches when they were appliquing this lace. This happens probably half the time that the tool has just pretty much disintegrated because of the number of stitches that they put in it. And I wanted to show you that so that when you peel back the lace, you won't be like horrified and think that you did something wrong to it. Sometimes if we need to remove the lace and, retain the perfection of the tool, I just have to tell the bride that's not possible, that the tool was damaged during the initial sewing. We just try to not damage it any further. Now this strap does have a lace trim around the edge. She's going to want to narrow the strap a little bit, and you can see me drawing the line with my finger. She wants to swing it in just a little bit. So I'm going to remove that trim for putting on later. And here I am removing the lace. You can either use nippers for this, or you can also use a razor blade. If you choose to use a razor blade, and it just depends on what it was sewn on, which one works better, but if you choose to use a razor blade, always point the blade toward the back side of the lace so that you don't further damage the tool. Okay, so now we are looking at the bodice of the gown, the front of it. We've peeled away the lace at the shoulder, and I'm going to lay this flat to cut open the arm's eye and make the shape of the armhole the way we want it to be. We want the top of the arm to be kind of symmetrical front and back, but we want the back of the strap to protrude out a little bit wider than what you see in the front. Our shoulders actually sit forward just a little bit, so typically you'll see that the strap will usually be a little bit more narrow in the front than in the back. So I'm going to stabilize this with pins so that the layers are laying flat together, and then we're going to go ahead and start cutting. So here you'll see I'm cutting the front of the strap independent from the back, and then when I get closer to the top of the strap, I'm going to flip it and I'm going to cut them together stacked so that the shape of the cut matches perfectly at the apex of the shoulder. Now I'm going to cut the back, and I'm going to swing out just a little bit wider. And I'm going to keep this piece of lace that I'm cutting off because it is going to be my template for the other side. That way we know that we cut them perfectly. Now, just because we overlay it to the other side and they're cut symmetrically does not mean it's going to look symmetrical on the bride. I did end up putting the dress on the bride and doing a little bit of freehand cutting just because no one's back or shoulders are perfectly symmetrical. So you do kind of want to eyeball it in the end too, just to true things up visually, make sure that they look balanced on the body. And here you can see I'm overlaying that to use as a template for cutting the other side. While I'm cutting this, let me say, please excuse my voice. I am having some kind of allergies right now. Also, please remember that I am first and foremost a seamstress. I am not a professional video editor. Most of you understand that, and you're very grateful for the content that I'm putting out. And I really appreciate your kindness and understanding in that. What my choice is I can wait until I'm perfect at video editing, and then I would never produce any content. Or I can produce some content that is imperfect as far as audio and visual go. I'm just not a great video editor, you know, that's just not what I was born to do. But I decided it was more important to share this content. So all of you that have been so kind and so patient with me, I really, really thank you. When I'm editing, it looks okay to me on the computer, and then I upload it, and then a lot of times it's very different what you see online from what was in the computer, and I'm not sure why. And the crazy thing is, once you upload, you can't make any changes. There's no way to upload and be like, oh no, the audio is out of balance or whatever. You can't make changes. It's one hit wonder. You can either pull it and delete it, or you can live with it. So I hope you guys can live with it. All right, so here I am. I'm going to tighten up the seam at the top of the shoulder, and I'm going to sew only on the tool. I'm not going to sew on the lace. I'm definitely going to lock my stitch at the beginning and the end because it's going to be under a lot of pressure. Okay, so here I'm checking the overlay. I'm going to take the lace from each side and kind of, lay one over, lay the other over, sing-songy kind of way, very organic. Where they pile up, I am going to just, as you see, snip away a little bit of the lace. We don't want to do anything destructive. We want to keep the lace for the bride, but we want to make sure that you don't have like double density up there that looks bad. So if there's too much of an overlap, you're going to want to clear that out. If it's just a little bit of an overlap, that's okay. So here you can see the detail of it, how it seems to be laying organically. Each side is kind of taking its turn, whether or not it's on top or on bottom, that kind of thing. You don't want, the front lace to completely overlap the back or vice versa. You want it to kind of go back and forth. And here I'm stabilizing it with pins before I sew it down. Okay, so here is how you would put the trim back ordinarily. You would just run it back along the edge. This bride actually tried the dress on with the trim tucked under, and she wants a raw edge. She decided not to have the trim put back on. If she wanted it back on, I would have disconnected it from the underarm and sewn it all the way around. It would not have met because of how it's more area for it to traverse now than before. So it would not have met at the underarm. I would have had to add a little piece of applique to join it together, but that would have been fine. So here I'm doing some free motion stitching to put that lace down up top. You can do that by hand. And then as it says here, for detailed instructions on how I do this stitch, check out my hemming applique video in my hemming playlist. I have a video that goes over how to do this in great detail. Most machines can do this, even if you don't have this Juki. If you look in your manual and see if there's a way to drop the feed dogs, and then you can do a free motion stitch. So that's what you're going to want to do, something that will allow you to drop the feed dogs. So here I am removing this the rest of the way because she doesn't want it. It actually looked really good with that organic raw edge. I hope this has helped you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. And as always, please hit like, share, and subscribe.